吓 Ubisoft， 我冇睇錯，我睇緊手機，所以冇乜留意個畫面。啊，係咪 stream 緊先？應該係。玩翻即係玩翻啲 detective 類型嘅遊戲嘅，雖然我唔知佢整成點啦嚇。你當然係做唔到一個真實世界嘅推理嘅，除非你有 Ubisoft 嘅人力。我睇下佢點啦。What? OK。到底係咩系統咧？今次好似每個 deduction space 都唔錯嘅。今次其實佢早期嗰啲遊戲個評分係非常差嘅。咁當然啦，係因為佢整唔到一個真正嘅推理嘅故事出嚟啦。即係好多時候都變咗一個 hidden objects game。我睇下佢今次個系統搞成，呢個係2014年呢個遊戲。
Holmes。
佢向緊嗰邊開槍。
Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad. 唔使換子彈嘅。 Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
Very bad.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
我係控制 Sherlock Holmes 嘅，暫時嚟講。呢個係1895年，OK。1890。有打 OK 有打落嘅落。而家係咩年份？save 呢個系統。
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
我諗福爾摩斯唔會自己打掃。間房同之前嗰個遊戲幾乎一模一樣。我諗佢係跟翻現實中嘅 Baker Street 嗰個建築嚟整嘅，應該係咁嘅樣。但係佢好似冇廁所喎，呢個遊戲入面嘅設計。
My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
佢語氣好奇怪。
My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
因為基本上係 internet。19世紀嘅 internet。
This is where I keep my post.
Really? 即係封咗。
My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
點解要喺屋企練槍？點解唔出去？係嘛？練槍喺出。應該係現實嘅建築嚟。如果唔係，每隻遊戲都整到冇嘢。再隨便。 有啲想像。我係改髮型，黐線。呢個係咪似佢喺嗰啲插畫嘅形象多啲？你想象唔到 Sherlock Holmes 嘅樣係可以講。我諗變裝會有用嘅，如果佢有啲變裝嘅環節。唔好意思，俾翻原本。Disguise option， 頂帽唔用。偉大帽啊！頂帽唔係幾襯件衫啊！頂唔大㗎，頂帽係黑色。我哋着返黑色。佢個 camera 個角度太高，佢唔應該喐 camera 個角度。點解要用啊？點解要用 Sherlock Holmes 嚟做個中心？唔係應該用望緊嘢嚟做個中心？你哋用咩途徑去廁所嘅？咪有公廁嘅出？我都係唔會研究19世紀嘅衞生問題。Can I save？ 呢個 loading screen。
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
有冇得 save 㗎？呢個遊戲。
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes?
可唔可以解釋下咩掣有咩用？How to play? Launch imagination. Launch Sherlock talents. RT. 有 first person view. Run. Casebook. Q 係咩 ？Switch characters. OK. Reduction space. Help.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
À, 點解係咯？但係有石嘅路啊，點解要行嘅？點解要行喺旁邊行？
These footprints appear to be quite large.
Mr. Holmes?
Cái xe入面。 俾踩呢個田。
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
係叫我入去嘅咩？
Mr. Holmes?
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
呢個係咩仔？
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually, whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
OK。有咩要揾？Gardening blooms.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Yeah.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
呢個係 safe icon 嚟，左下角係幾有趣啊！佢嘅系統可以發揮下福爾摩斯嘅觀察力。好鬼難整嘅你福爾摩斯嘅遊戲，你又要個玩家可以扮演到佢，但係你個玩家個技術要求唔可以太高。咁多爛，咁多爛嘅 barrel， 有啲咩可以做？入呢間度。呢度有路落去。
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
真係多謝晒。呢啲係同福爾摩斯長期合作嘅檢查就
Peter Carey's body is inside the
知道應
cabin.
該點做。
We took care not to touch anything.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
呢度唔撳得，咁仲有咩撳得 ？Come on！
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Ooh.
What a terrible way to die.
好獵奇。
Dundee. Hammerfest. It's a whaling map. The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Hello.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
邊。
This place is not an object was
Cafe investigation。好多掣撳，死啦！
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Harpoons for hunting whales. Someone drank from this glass recently.
兩杯喎。
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work. This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
仲喺喐嘅。
Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors. Rum, a sailor's drink. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
盞燈冇乜特別。呢嚿嘢竟然唔使睇。
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
呢個咩符號嚟 ？Find a use， 得啦。
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what? This wooden handle is plain and solid.
咩個 B 啊？
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
JC JHN Help. Red color signifies an unachievable clue combination.
Aha! Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky,
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Dead.
Mr. Holmes?
有咩可以做？
These boots don't match the footprints.
唔知條友要睇幾耐？
Mr. Holmes?
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There is a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam.
應該係嗰樣。
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Mr. Holmes?
間嘢入面係有嘢嘅喎，又唔俾我入去。
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
The Fate of Black. 你條屍放咗喺度2日啦。
Shh! Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there. Mr. Holmes, come and see what we've caught in our net.
Mr. Holmes?
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? Then what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough!
中國人嚟，
You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the
個樣
yard.
有啲似中國人。
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Mr. Holmes?
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
「其他案唔使我理嘅，我諗。
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
我用咗現代嘅角度嚟睇，我以為係電話簿嚟，唔係電話簿嚟嘅，唔係電話簿嚟嘅。咁呢12個數字係咩意思？From outdoors, my friend
And partner, 1883. From R. Dawson. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer. A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
全部嘢都數字咁，應該有啲來歷嘅呢條友。
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
嗰條毛巾係冇講任何嘢。點解有頭骨喺度嘅？第個頭骨，連啲槍都放埋喺入面，冇鬼！
Locked.
有啲難判斷你係想送去醫院定係送嚟警察局。
Mr. Holmes?
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan. The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner.
我唔知今年係咩年份呢個問題係。今年係咩年份啊？應該係窮人嚟嘅呢個。 expensive vibe。呢個係咩嚟嘅？
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please, let me go. I'm innocent. What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Really? character-wise 係感覺。
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
喺度爆人哋屋企嘅建築你都叫得明，黐線。
Locked.
個人喺佢入面。你坐啲馬車同坐的士係一樣，我覺得。點解隻狗嘅？
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. That is not the one I need.
咩年份啊？到底而家係救命啊！睇下個 Steam page 有冇講任何嘢。冇啦，冇啦。To Norway.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
All right.呢隻狗係Sherlock Holmes 㗎。
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
我唔記得隻狗，好似有啲咁嘅嘢，捉埋旗啊，咩人贏到你？呢張係辦公台。
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible, but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Well, thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
咁樣借翻嚟得唔得嘅？
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
我要踩只 Toby 我冇咩記憶。仲係望住佢，會喐㗎嗰個人。
I need to take a harpoon with me.
冇人。條屍應該唔見咗啦嘛？
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
啱死嘅，冇頭嘅呢只豬。
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
點解出樓控訴想自己玩呢個？
Holmes, you should try to aim better and throw as hard as you can.
好難啊！好難啊喂！
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
係佢俾錢。我諗掟穿個人唔係太難啦，掟穿埲牆就好難。我要去邊啊？好似話要去揾佢，揾嗰個人。
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
你由呢度搭到去嗰度就係為咗做嗰個實驗。Alright， 行咗半個城市。
Locked. I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes. Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
點啊？要翻去睇啊！係要翻去睇嘅。頂，跑嚟跑去，你又唔諗下你個 loading speed 幾長？要 Watson 跟住佢行。
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
Okay.
This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. This log notes for June. Nothing unusual.
有啲 coordinates。
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Log notes for log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
CPR。
These are the suspect's belongings. I wonder if these are connected. Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
兩個都得㗎。馬車路丁變好長。
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they are still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
What?
Watson, I need Wiggins. Is he anywhere nearby?
He's right across the street. You can give him a sign from the window.
仲係望緊佢嘅，點解？
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Red lights.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
OK。我希望唔係佢死咗啦。
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking. These are the suspect's belongings.
一對鞋喎。
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
可能夠大。
A pen. Nothing unusual about it. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes? Do you have any idea who the murderer is yet? How is the investigation going?
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
可唔可以換人？
Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belonged to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
嚟到喎，石定係木料咁啊？好似應該唔係某種雀。
That's all for now.
Really？
I'm not saying another word.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Mr. Holmes?
間房有鏈嘅，可以綁住對手嘅，我諗。頸骨有咩嚟？尺、水管。19世紀有水管。水管應該早啲嘅。我唔知有冇供水嘅設施啫，19世紀。啲人個狀態係有啲變化。OK。
Mr. Holmes?
我要做啲咩？好多馬車費嘅。係咁搭馬車。係咪可以叫警察出翻車馬費？完全冇保存嘅喎，呢啲腳印你落個雨又消失晒，大佬。
These boots match the footprints exactly. Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
time 太多嚟嘅。你仲有冇人查？
A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more interesting than I first imagined.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. First condition, second condition. Orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the third condition. Colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
畫面係精緻喎，之前啲遊戲好多嘅，呢個肯定。雖然都未到2014年嘅水準，到未咧？差唔多啦，唔係最 top 啦。啱唔啱？
Done. Now I can proceed further. Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
睇翻我自己個錄影先。哇，好難度，出現咗0.1秒度。
A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more...
好多跑腿工作做偵探。
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Boots don't match 點解？
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one, but it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley.
Check what?
That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
我都借邊。可唔可以跑佢？啊，可以 teleport 嘅，不過都係要撈。邊啊啲嘢？哦，嗰度。堆計唔計？我都覺得遲早會返去。
Locked. Locked.
開門啊，阿嬸。
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do so?
Let's see what could be hidden here.
真係唔好意思，俾我睇其他嘢先，其他嘢。Alright.
Let us see what is in this box.
點運作嘅呢嚿嘢？難明。
A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
多謝你俾個線索我。
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
What are you talking about?
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Leave me alone, please.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
我唔好知揾咩人。阿潘 PC 兩個都係 PC 教。
This is interesting. Let us review the other sailors now. This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch. Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
All right.
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch.
What should we do next, Holmes?
整個場景好仔細，但係完全冇其他嘢做。
Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling and arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
認真嘅。 贏唔到佢喎。Fail.
That's the arm that killed 100 whales. Care to lose another 10 shillings?
Yellow nose 有咩意？
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
到底福爾摩斯幾有錢？可以喺度。 好難睇個表情。
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
I've had enough. You're too strong.
Come back later when you can use your arms again.
要贏幾多次咧？只贏一次嘅。咁點啊？而家？OK， 哦，原來黃色指甲係代表食煙，第一次知。可唔可以 save？ 唔知 last save point 喺邊？
I cannot leave yet. I am not finished here.
都要揾個時間停嘅，我都唔知佢啲 save point 喺邊。鬼煩！有好多單案嘅，OK。